They stormed into my house dressed like cops, guns drawn, pointing straight at my wife. I thought for sure that moment would be our last, but Maria didn't flinch, she just stared them down like they were kids playing dress-up. That was when it hit me. These idiots had picked the wrong house, and they were about to find out why. My name's Raymond Sanchez, and 6 months ago I thought I'd found the perfect suburb. Tree-lined streets, kids riding bikes, neighbors waving as they walked their dogs. It looked like a postcard version of the American dream. Maria had just sold her tech startup, and I worked from home in IT security. We wanted peace and quiet. What we got instead was Ashley Thomas. Ashley had been HOA president for 12 years, and she greeted us at the door on day one with a fake smile and a loaf of store-bought banana bread. Her eyes weren't warm, though they scanned our house like a TSA agent deciding if we belonged. When Maria introduced us, Ashley tilted her head and asked where we were really from. That was the moment my wife's jaw tightened the smallest flicker only I would notice. She answered calmly, "San Antonio, fourth-generation Texan." But Ashley wasn't satisfied. "That name sounds ethnic," she said like it was poison on her tongue. I laughed it off, but Maria didn't. She just said quietly, "That woman's going to be a problem." She wasn't wrong. A week later, 7 a.m. on a Saturday, Ashley was pounding on our door with a clipboard and a measuring tape. Half asleep, I opened the door in my boxers, and she announced that our hibiscus bush extended 3 inches into common space. A violation. I thought she was kidding who measures bushes at dawn, but she wasn't smiling. And from that morning on, the harassment never stopped. Too tall grass, fine. Mailbox painted the wrong shade of black, fine. Car parked 2 degrees off the curb, fine, Vite. She emailed us at all hours with bogus complaints. It was like she had made our lives her personal project. At first I joked about it, but Maria didn't laugh. She kept file screenshots, photos, printouts of every notice. I thought she was just being meticulous, but she was building something bigger. One night, Brad Ashley's husband showed up at our back door reeking of beer. He whispered an apology. She targets certain neighbors. The Clarks, the Patels, the Johnsons. They didn't last a year. He said Ashley owed dangerous people a lot of money. She drove families out to cover her tracks. Before I could ask questions, he stumbled away. I remember standing there in the dark, uneasy, and when I turned, Maria was in the garage, gun in hand, practicing her draw like she'd never stopped. That's when the cracks started forming inside me. I thought we'd moved here for peace, but every day felt like walking a battlefield I hadn't signed up for. Maria kept her cool. But me, I started asking myself if we should just leave, cut our losses, sell the house, and run. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe Ashley was just a bitter old busybody, and I was the problem for letting it get to me. But every time that thought took hold, something else would happen to prove I wasn't crazy. Ashley posted a video of Maria doing yoga in our garage online, captioned with racist garbage. Then I got a text with a video of her jogging zoomed in on her body with the words, "Your kind doesn't belong here." I showed it to Maria, expecting her to break down, but she just analyzed it like intel. "They're escalating," she said, almost calm. "Good. Let them show their hand." And then Tyler showed up. Ashley's 20-something nephew wearing a fake tactical vest with HOA police patches he probably ordered off eBay carrying a real Glock on his hip. He'd park outside our house for hours, shine flashlights through our windows, follow Maria on her runs. One day, he blocked her car with his old Crown Vic plastered with knockoff decals and demanded her license. Maria just looked at him and said, "That's not a real badge. You're impersonating law enforcement. That's a felony." Her calm shook him, but before leaving he hissed, "This isn't over." That night, Maria asked me to do something I'd been avoiding, dig into their communications. So I hacked Tyler's accounts. It didn't take long. His passwords were pathetic. What I found made my blood run cold. Group chats between him and 2 buddies from mall security bragging about teaching illegals a lesson. Screenshots of our house. Maria's jogging routes talk about $5,000 from Ashley to handle the situation. Gun emojis locked and loaded. I sat there staring at the screen, shaking. I wanted to quit. Sell the house, move away. I told Maria as much. She just placed her hand on mine and said, if we run, they'll do it to someone else. You think the Clarks got justice? The Patels? The Johnsons? No, they left with nothing. I won't let her do that again. So I backed everything up. Cloud hard drives even sent copies to myself. Maria bought more cameras and set them up on every corner of the house. She started sleeping fully dressed, her purse rigged with a concealed carry. It felt less like we were living in a home and more like we were setting up a forward operating base. 3 days later, it happened. Tyler and his buddies rolled up in the middle of the night, lights off, dressed in cheap police costumes. They smashed through our front door with a battering ram, screaming, "Police, get down!" But instead of panic, they got Maria. She fired a warning shot into the ceiling that froze them in place. "Armed homeowner. You're being recorded. Drop your weapons." Her voice carried an authority I'd never heard before, commanding, unshakable. Tyler tried to bluster. "You're under arrest for threatening HOA officers." His voice cracked. Maria stepped into the light weapon steady and said, "You're not officers. You're criminals. Take one more step, and I'll defend my home with lethal force." One of the goons rushed the stairs. Maria moved like lightning. Sidestep, twist, and he was flat on the ground, his arm bent at an angle that made me nauseous. She had her knee on his neck before he could blink. And then she dropped the bomb. "I am Colonel Maria Sanchez, United States Army Intelligence, retired. 12 years active duty. 3 combat tours. You just committed armed assault on a decorated officer in her own home." Tyler's face drained white. He stammered, "No, Aunt Ash said. You were illegals." She said, "Cartel," and then it happened. The stain spreading across his pants was visible even in the dim light, the smell confirming it. Tyler Morrison, fake cop extraordinaire, had pissed himself in fear. I'll admit I almost laughed, but the reality of the danger kept my stomach in knots. Maria called for me. "Zip ties. Kitchen drawer. Now." My hands shook as I bound their wrists and ankles. Tyler kept babbling through tears. "She said you had drug money. She said if we scared you, you'd leave. I didn't know you were military. Please, Colonel, I'm sorry." By the time the real police arrived, the 3 of them were hogtied on our lawn. Tyler was confessing everything. Ashley paid them. Ashley directed it. Ashley promised money from HOA funds. And every second had been recorded on multiple cameras. Hours later, Ashley was in cuffs. Brad finally showed up with boxes of documents, fraudulent accounts, racist emails, proof she'd been embezzling HOA funds to pay off gambling debts. She'd been running families out of their homes for years, flipping properties through shell companies and pocketing hundreds of thousands. She thought she was untouchable, but in the courtroom she wasn't the queen bee anymore. She was just another criminal facing 25 years of federal time, her empire of fines and petty rules crumbling around her. And the cherry on top. Tyler's body cam footage, his pants-soaking humiliation went viral before the trial was even over. Millions watched the downfall of Ashley Thomas's fake police force, and no one would ever see her as powerful again. That's where I'll end this story. Not at some backyard celebration, not with a happy toast, but with Ashley collapsing at the defense table, sobbing as the judge read out her sentence. Because sometimes justice isn't a party. It's watching the person who tried to destroy you lose everything in front of the world. And the lesson, never mistake quiet neighbors for easy targets.